Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. I woke up this morning and I just had to tell you what happened last night. Oh my goodness, it was wild. For those of you who missed my last video, I pulled into a Cracker Barrel yesterday evening because when in doubt, Cracker Barrel it out. And I was good. I checked the Cracker Barrel, it had good reviews. I pulled in, there were some really nice rigs here. The community that it's next to is a very nice, area, and then also right behind me we have this luxury RV sales place, so I felt super comfortable. So last night I decided I was going to kind of call it a little early and just slip into bed by 8:30 because it was kind of chilly and I was tired. And so I got into the back, I had everything all set up, I'd already eaten my dinner, I'm sitting there watching some television in my pajamas in my bed, and all of a sudden I heard something on what I assumed to be the highway. Now, let me explain how this place is set up just a little bit. In the parking lot part that I am at, I am on the side, and there's a couple larger rigs here, really nice rigs. And right up next to that side is where the RV sales place is. Now, I am looking straight forward at the Cracker Barrel, and the Cracker Barrel is looking straight forward onto a highway. Now, to get into the parking lot, you go around the back part into this nice little area that is basically the RV area for the RV sales thing. So there's nothing back there at all other than just a tiny little road to get to the RV sales place. Now that I've set the stage, I think it came from the highway. So that is on this side. So let me tell you what I heard. At first, I thought it was a backfire of a car. Pop! I was like, okay, backfire. We've heard backfire before. We've heard backfire in a lot of places. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot of that, especially when people soup up their engines or do crazy things. So no big deal. We're in a city. Cool. And then I heard it again. Pop! I was like, what on earth? Okay, somebody's having some issues. They're going through it. And then I realized it got faster in progression. Pop, 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 pop. And I was like, oh no, that is not backfire. So me being in the back of my van was like, okay, it didn't sound like it was right here, but is anybody else concerned? So I crawled to the front and I looked through my blinds, like this blind right here. I pulled it up just a little bit. I pulled the other one up and then I pulled the front one down, and no one else seemed to be alarmed. And I was like, okay, I know you guys heard that. And about that time I heard it again. Pop, 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 pop. And I was like, what is that? And then I could hear a response pop, pop. And it sounded like it was slightly further away. Pop, 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 pop. Like it was rapid fire. And I was like, okay, logic brain is telling me that is a gun. And it sounds like it's kind of further away. So I'm safe. That's great. But at the same time, not super settling when you're staying at the Cracker Barrel. And so I was like, okay, are they getting off at the ramp? Because there's a ramp literally across from me. And if so, are they in pursuit of one another? So my mind just went through it, trying to figure this out. At the same time, staying in my van because I want no part of this. And this is the first time I've ever encountered something kind of like this while at a Cracker Barrel or any urban campsite for that matter. So I started doom scrolling, basically trying to figure out what was going on. And I looked up the area that I'm in, which is Concord. And Concord is supposed to have a lower than average crime rate. Cool. But right across the river is a place called Arnold, which apparently has a higher than average crime rate. And as I'm looking up the Concord to Arnold portal, which I think is I-55, apparently there's been several shootouts on I-55 in the past couple years. What? Okay, so that's a weird van thing that I wasn't expecting. Having to worry about shootouts on the wild, wild west of, St. Louis. I mean, mind you, St. Louis is on a list of more violent cities, and I understand that, and that is why I did not want to stay at one of the truck stops, because the last time I came through here, I kind of got a vibe that I was like, So I wanted to come here so that I could hub out of here to go south or north. There's places in both directions that I wanted to go, and Cracker Barrels are traditionally very safe places. I did not feel unsafe. Let me just point that out. I did not feel unsafe at this Cracker Barrel. Everyone was friendly. There were very nice rigs here, other nice people. There wasn't any yelling in the parking lot. Nothing. Just normal stuff. normal stuff that you would expect, stopping off for the night on your road to your next destination. But no. Oh, it was a little wild. It was a little wild. So I just wanted to share that because it just kind of brought to my attention the weirdness that can happen when you're staying across the country in different places that you're not as familiar with. I probably would have never looked up the statistics for I-55 if I wouldn't have heard the gunfire. I just wouldn't have. But that makes me realize that, okay, you know the rule of thumb of don't drive after dark? That is one of the variables that now we must think of with driving after dark. As I read through some of the stories about the violence on the highways, and specifically gunfire, I'm just blown away. Apparently, most of this happens after dark. So, if you're out there and you're near a city and you don't know where you're going, find a destination as quickly as possible before it gets dark. I never thought I would be one of those people who'd be like, don't be driving after dark. But in this case, especially if you're in a city that has an interesting reputation, maybe, just don't be on the highway after it gets dark. And I know there's probably some people who are from the St. Louis area who are probably going to say, oh, that was one time and you're overreacting. And that is fine. But in my overreacting, I personally am safe, so it's okay. But I just thought it was wild. I was texting Riley going, so I think I just heard gunfire, and she was like, stay low, don't get out. And I was like, I know, obviously, because they don't know where it is. And at first, whenever I heard it, again, it just sounded like backfire. But when I heard the response shots that continued, I was like, okay, this is like an ongoing back and forth pop, 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 pop. Just kept popping. It got real unnerving. I laugh now, but at the time last night when this happened, I was just like, what on earth have I gotten myself into? Wow. And I never at any point felt like it was like in the parking lot. After I confirmed that no one else was concerned, I knew that there wasn't violence here. And so I felt safe. And there is a vehicle that's parked in this direction that would be blocking me from the highway. But at the same time, oh my goodness. Things that make you go, when you're staying in cities. Yeah. And I'm not even a person who wants to be like, don't go to the city, because I love cities. I think they're a great resource. They have so many cool things. There's museums, there's theme parks, there's so many cool historic sites, there's really nice restaurants, there's all sorts of adventures that you can have in a city, just like you can in a more remote space. However, there is also the added variable of more people, and with that sometimes comes a wild card that is a little angry and, how shall we say this? Flaunting their pew-pews down the highway. Yeah. I don't even know where to go with this one. Just kind of wild. So yeah, that was my wildest van life story that I've experienced while staying at a Cracker Barrel. What's yours? Have you experienced any kind of strangeness? If you have, let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know, and let's have a conversation amongst friends down here. See if anybody else has seen some weird stuff in the cities. Till next time, guys, I'll be adventuring on the next one, and I'll see you then. Bye.